This is Jenna with Be A Lobster, and I'm back for another episode. And let me just make sure I can hear myself before I start. Okay, yes. Hi, everyone. This is Jenna, and this is episode 3 of Be A Lobster. I am alone today. There are no guests today. I felt like it would be disingenuous to just have like a ton of people on and act super, super energetic because lately I've just been so exhausted. Like, just very emotionally drained just because there's so much happening right now. I mean, like, coming to college for the second year and then seeing everyone still getting adjusted all my classes, all the assignments and everything. They're kind of piling up right now. But I'm going to talk a little bit about it today, and today is going to be about shelf confidence. Do you get it? It's shelf confidence. Okay. But yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the show of what Be a Lobster actually is, because last episode I did not start with that, and some people who just started listening, they were like, I still don't get the point of the show. So this is what Be a Lobster is, okay? So Be a Lobster is about caring too much about what the world thinks of you. I was bullied all throughout high school, and that changed me for the good, and for the bad, I think it made me super hyper aware about what other people are thinking about me, and always thinking that everyone is always looking at me and that all eyes are always on me, when that's actually, it is the case in certain situations, but you shouldn't hyper focus on that. So yeah, I was bullied all throughout high school. That trauma kind of carried me into college, and now when I'm walking around, I often am super like kind of worried about what other people think about me. I still run through campus with my head down low, kind of hyper focused on what other people are thinking about me. Is anyone looking at me? I mean, even today, I didn't wear the lobster costume today because I was just not feeling it, one, because it's really hot out, but also because I'm just not super, super happy today. But I did wear kind of a funkier outfit than usual, and on my way here, because I talked about in one of the episodes how I was too afraid to wear my Princess Leia buns in public now all of a sudden, because I thought that people would think that it's stupid. So I was like, all right, you're going to wear them today, and you're not going to take them out by the time that you get to the next class. So yeah, today I'm wearing my Princess Leia buns, I'm wearing camo pants, a funky outfit, and then on the way here I saw my friend Adam, and he said, oh, I knew it was you because of the outfit. And then I was thinking, what does that mean? How did you know it was me based on the outfit? Am I being perceived? Why am I being perceived in such a way? But then I stopped myself. But okay, so back to Be a Lobster. Be a Lobster is about getting uncomfortable. Lobsters are super uncomfortable when they need to outgrow their shell. This process is called molting. A little bit of science for you. So molting is a lot like when humans go through these challenging or uncomfortable experiences in order to grow. They're outgrowing their shell, and then they come out of it. There's a fresh, new, shiny, amazing shell underneath, and now they're ready to continue their life. That's what life is all about. I'm uncomfortable, but I'm going to get out of that shell, and then once I have exposed myself and became who I need to be, now I'm going to be able to, be super free and be the person that I'm meant to be. That's what it's all about. So lobsters have to shed their restrictive shells to continue growing, and we have to go through these tough experiences that push us out of our comfort zones, because that's who we become, who we need to be. We might feel vulnerable or exposed. That's how lobsters do before shedding their shells. But, we come out of these experiences more resilient. And it's a natural part of life, both for lobsters and for us, to face periods of discomfort in order to grow, to move forward, and then become stronger. And on Be a Lobster, we are going to teach myself, because I have so much growing to do, but also other people to get that comfortably uncomfortable experience and become confident. And that's what the episode's about. Shelf confidence, because life is too short to hide in your shell. Life is way too short. like I said, I usually wear a big red lobster costume, but today I was not feeling it. I kind of just wanted to blend in to kind of hide. But I think this podcast is for people who are super passionate about something, but they don't necessarily feel super comfortable sharing it with the world, or people who always find themselves apologizing. I feel like a lot of times I won't even do anything wrong, but then I'll find myself saying, "Oh, sorry," or just like passing by someone. You don't even brush past them, but you're like, "Oh, sorry that I'm taking up space." We're not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore, and all the listeners, we're not doing that anymore. Yeah, people who avoid potentially embarrassing things like the plague, we're not about that life anymore. This past weekend, I hung out with a friend, and they were like, "You're being so awkward right now. Why are you being so awkward? You're being so weird." And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not being awkward. You are perceiving me to be awkward. I'm not being awkward. I'm the only person who can say if I'm being awkward or not, and that doesn't exist for me. I'm not awkward. I'm too confident to be awkward. I'm owning it. Okay, and if I am awkward, then so be it. Just let me be. You know what I mean? I don't get embarrassed anymore. That's what lately, if I find myself trying to talk about an experience and I'm like, "Oh no, this was the worst thing ever. Oh my gosh." I'm like, "No, it was not embarrassing. If they find it embarrassing, then that says more about them than me, because who cares if I just tripped in front of everyone on the way to class? Don't care. That was in my way." Do you know what I mean? Like, that curb was in my way. It was in my way. That's all. Also, for people who want to start an unconventional hobby, because now I'm here starting a podcast. Who told me I could do that? Who told me I could start a podcast? Me. And did I think that people were going to judge? Maybe. But I come here usually in my lobster costume, and if people have something to say, then so be it. I'm not going to hide because I'm afraid of what other people are going to think. So, yeah. I wore my cool hairstyle today, and that's all that matters. Because shame in yourself or embarrassment then leads to self-reflection. You have to take a few steps back and think, why am I embarrassed right now? Like, why am I embarrassed to wear this cool hairstyle? Why am I embarrassed because of blank? Why am I embarrassed because of that? That you're self-reflecting, and then from there, it leads to growth, because then you find what was the root of the way that you're feeling, and then you slowly become the best person that you can be. So, yeah. Let me talk about something that I have done recently that helped me to get out of my comfort zone. So, I feel like right now I'm kind of getting out of my comfort zone doing this solo podcast, because when I first started, I thought, no way I'd be able to sit here and talk for 50 minutes just with myself, with my thoughts, and not have a guest speaker. I was like, "Oh, that's going to be so embarrassing. No one's going to want to listen to that." It was very much out of my comfort zone. But then I thought, well, this is a podcast about getting out of your comfort zone, so I might as well do that. I might as well just be by myself. And also lately, I've been trying to be more communicative. Yeah. I hate confrontation. But last episode, we talked about clause for conflict, and kind of talked about how you shouldn't be afraid to set boundaries with other people or to speak your mind, because there's nothing wrong with that. So I've been making a super conscious effort to, when something's bothering me, to bring it up, not let it bubble over, because it almost feels like a way to, it's like hurting yourself when you're not, being super communicative. So I started doing that, and it's definitely uncomfortable for me, but it does feel super empowering in a way. And I recommend it, and I recommend people listen to that episode once it's posted, because I think that it, in a funny way, it can really, teach you to. There's nothing wrong with speaking your mind. There's nothing wrong with it, and that's what it's all about. Something that I've done lately that's not good, canceling on people. I need to get better at this because sometimes I'll, especially in regards to, am I breaking up? No, it's just my headphones. Something that I do a lot is I'll make plans with people, more specifically dates. I'll make dates with guys and then last minute kind of cancel because it makes me super scared and uncomfortable. And I'll think like, oh wow, I'm going to get into, maybe I can have a relationship, maybe I can do this. But then when I get there a few minutes before or even like that day and I know that the plan is set in stone, I'll be just dreading it all day long and just feel so much relief once it's actually canceled and not actually happening. I should honestly at that point just be like, I know we made these plans, but I don't really want to hang out with you anymore because it's stressing me out. But instead, I'll usually just say I'm sick, which this week I was sick in my own defense, but also like not sick enough to not go completely. Do you know what I mean? Like I could have made it work if I really wanted to. It's just, I don't know. There's something about having a set plan or a date that just does not click with me. So maybe this week I'll go on a date and get out of my comfort zone. But yeah, one time there was this guy that I met on I don't know if I'm allowed to say this if I'll get like in trouble from the dating app, but a celebrity dating app that I am on. I don't know. Don't ask why I'm on a celebrity dating app. Don't know how I got in. It did gas me up, in case you're wondering. Yes. Just kidding. Literally every college student in California or Arizona is on this celebrity dating app. But I like to, honestly, I don't even go on it. I don't even swipe through it. I just like telling people that I'm on it. Cause they'll be like, what is blank? Insert app name. What is insert app name? I've never heard of that. And I'll just be like, oh, it's a celebrity dating app. And then list off some people that I have seen on it. No, I have not matched. I have not matched with any celebrities yet, if I eventually start to swipe on it. But there's this one story where I didn't match with a celebrity, but I matched with a celebrity's child. Even better. That's even better. Like, we love a Nepo baby. Come on. They get everything, but not the ego and not the fame. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay. Like, yep, swipe right. And he was cute, too. He was super cute, like, super fashionable. He was, like, a fashion student. And you know how I feel about fashion. I love a guy who knows how to dress. So it was going really well. Like, this guy was genuinely me if I were a dude, because we were just so compatible and so similar. And then obviously on top of that, he he came from a really good background, like a really talented dad, and like he knew all these people, and it just seemed so cool. And he was just also just so cool himself. He sent me like these huge like $300 flowers on Valentine's Day, and spent so much money, like on my birthday, like sent me things, and at this point, no, I had not even met him before. I had not even met this guy before, but he sent me $300 worth of flowers and all this stuff. Well, how did I react to this, you may ask? I self-sabotaged myself to the max, and I just stopped responding. We had plans to hang out, and I like canceled last minute, or I think, or something, whatever happened, like I didn't show up or whatever, it scared me, so I just stopped responding. Completely self-sabotaged myself. And now, to this day, now that I'm more self-aware and not in it, I think, wow, like, I totally messed that up. And in case you're wondering, yes, I did try to reach out to him again. No, it did not go well, because he's probably like, you just stopped responding to me, like, after I sent you $300 flowers. So I guess the point is that I don't want to self-sabotage because I'm scared anymore. And I want to try to be as self-aware as possible, especially in regards to relationships. Stop canceling on people. You know what? I'm going to go on a date this week, okay? And then next week, I'm going to tell you guys how that date went and if I actually did it or if I canceled again. But I mean, now that I talked about it, I can't. So I'm going to go on a date this week, okay? Or even just have a plan and not cancel. So I'll let you know how that goes. I feel like part of the reason why I don't know how to react in regards to relationships or guys or anything like that is because, I mean, it kind of all hit me at once. Like, I didn't get a lot of attention. Like, you know how some people had, like, boyfriends growing up in elementary school and they, like, grew up cute? They've always been cute. Everyone's always thought that they were super cute. Well, my glow up hit in, like, sophomore year of high school, and I didn't even know how to react because all of a sudden I was getting all of this attention from guys, and, like, people finally found me attractive, like, right after I got my braces off. But I just didn't know how to handle it, and then maybe now to this day I still feel like this little chubby kid with buck teeth and braces. I don't know. I'll have to do some more self-discovery in terms of that. But yeah, I don't know. Speaking of my love life, yeah. I mean, it's still I like, yes, I get male attention, but it's still not going well. Like, it's definitely not going well. Literally last year, talk about an embarrassing story. Last year, my roommate Marissa, she was on a few weeks ago. She was trying to play matchmaker with this guy, and he lived on our floor, like right across from us, and I just thought that he was so, like, cool and cute. He, like, played the guitar and stuff, and one night we were all, me, Marissa, and one of my best friends, Fia, we were all sitting in there's kind of like this little outdoor area right outside our dorm where we could all sit in it's kind of like a living room, and we were just sitting in there kind of just messing around. They had some alcohol in their system, I think. I didn't. I was completely dead sober, so I totally could have stopped this from happening if I really wanted to, but I was feeling bold, and Marissa was like, I'm just gonna text him and be like, Jenna has a crush on you. You should do something about that. And, you know, I'm not afraid of rejection at all. Like, had this person said no, I would have been like, okay, whatever, like, don't care. It's totally fine. Because I don't think my ego gets bruised that easily. But this person, he was just like, I think he responded like, oh, really? Wow. Okay, well, yeah, thanks for telling me. And how it happened was Marissa was like, I'm gonna text him, and I was like, oh yeah, do it, you're not gonna do it, but then he did, and then I thought that he hadn't even seen it yet, and I was like, okay, delete it now, Marissa, like, just unsend it, and Marissa was like, oh, I can't, and I was like, why? And she was like, because he already said it. He already saw it. And he already said something. And then we checked, and then it was that. And it was super just, like, kind of weirded out. And then to make matters worse, the next morning, Marissa texts him and is like, oh, sorry about that last night. We were drunk. I was just trying to play matchmaker. Trying to play it off like that's the reason why we did it. Like, we were all drunk. And I was dead sober, totally making this decision. And it was just so embarrassing, and now whenever I see him on campus, I'm all freaked out because I'm embarrassed, because I just seem like a weirdo, like, oh, let me have my roommate text you that I have this big crush on you, which I also didn't even have that big of a crush. It was just, like, not even a big deal. But you know what? That's the only time, I think, one of the only times last year where I was genuinely just, like, embarrassed. Because I think it would have been a lot better had I gone to him and been like, I have a crush on you. Would you like to go out? But instead I was like, yeah, Marissa, send this text on behalf of me. Like, we're in elementary school. That's so embarrassing. And also frats. Then I moved on to the frat guys. Frats aren't the move either. Frats are not the move either. One time I went to a frat and I was just talking to this guy. He's a great guy. He's a really great guy. But we were at, like, an after party, and we literally just, like, kissed, like, very grade school, like, just kissed. It wasn't even a big deal. Like, it was just a sweet, like, aw, like, it's like, it was not a big deal at all. And then all of a sudden, somebody at the frat took a photo of it or like recorded it, and then it was on the next week when they had their chapter or whatever, which is just like the get together when all of the frat gets together, and it was on the front page of the slideshow that they show during their chapter of me and this kid kissing. And then for months afterwards, and still to this day, sometimes when I go to that frat, they're like, "Oh, how's insert name here? How's he doing? Oh my God, you still like him? Remember that time that you guys kissed? Like, are we in elementary school?" After that, first of all, that changed me. That experience changed me, because why are you recording me? Why are you recording me? Talk about afraid to be seen, dude. And then also, because just how immature do you have to be? How immature do you have to be to not only take a photo of two people, just in general, regardless if they're kissing or whatever, but also to then bother me afterwards. Like, one of the times I went to a frat, I went to that frat's like after party or whatever, and the kid just kept showing me the photo and being like, "Is this you? Is this you?" Like, I was like, "Yes, it's me. Why do you care?" If anything, I should have just let that like boost my ego, because it's like paparazzi or something. You know? I don't know. I don't mess with the frats anymore. That's all. That's literally all. Also, whenever I can't with the frat guys, because also whenever I go out now with Fia and we have like literally one drink, we decide to show everyone that we can harmonize, and we'll be like, everyone listen to us, and then we'll start singing Pitch Perfect, or we'll start doing a riff off. Like, do you know what the riff off is? Where they're all singing, and then you have to do the theme of the song, and then you have to go based off of the word and whatever. If you've ever seen Pitch Perfect, you know. But yeah, whenever I go out now to the frats, I'll just hang out with my friend Fia the whole time, and we'll just try to show people we can harmonize. Like, one time there was this boy that I kind of liked at one of the frats, but I was just like trying to be funny and show him that me and Fia could sing, and I started showing him videos of me singing. We were like, listen to us, and then the guy like kind of walked away because he was like, leave me alone. Yeah. Gotta love musical theater in high school. Like, that changed me. Also, talking about musical theater in high school, all the guys that I liked growing up did not like girls, but I couldn't tell that at the time, so being younger, it just kind of broke my heart. I was like, no boys like me back. Girl, it's not your fault. It is not your fault. Yeah, then I dated a guy in high school, but it was and that was for like a year, but it wasn't, I feel like we were both super kind of unhappy. It was kind of a toxic relationship, I would say. There were just some like little toxic components, like a lot of his friends would say so much bad things about me, even though they didn't know me, just kind of like making stuff up, because I was bullied in high school, like I said. Like, during that time, I like didn't go into the lunchroom, just super afraid to like even walk around. Like, I would try to leave class early in high school so that during the passing period, I didn't have to see anyone. And if I did have to go to a passing period, I had to have a friend with me, because I was nervous that I was gonna, like, somebody was gonna say something to me, or somebody was gonna see me without a friend and then think that I had no friends or something. So, yeah. But then, you know, something that kind of affected my confidence was also, like, I did pageants. And then obviously doing pageants, you get super used to, you know, being embarrassed, because there's just so many scenarios that could happen in pageants that can potentially embarrass you. Like, I went on the national stage. I competed for, you know, the big pageant we had to travel for. We went to Dallas, and it was a whole thing, and I represented Massachusetts, and they played the wrong song when I went up on stage to sing my talent. Yeah, they played the wrong song, and instead of freaking out in that moment or getting super embarrassed, it was kind of like fight or flight took in, and I was like, oh, this is a great song, but it's not mine. And then they had to play in the new song, but that was in front of probably 3,000, 4,000 people. And imagine just being up on stage, there's like 10 seconds of silence, and then they just start playing the wrong song. But yeah, Fight or Flight took, like, I just like, oh, they played the wrong song, and then I had to just keep going. You know, in pageants, obviously, there are also times where you kind of wish that you had done better. A lot of times I would kind of be embarrassed after a pageant if I felt like I could have done better, or I wish I had said this, I wish I had said that. And then also one time I fell on stage. They called the top 15 for the pageant, and I was walking up, and they were like, Jenna McLaughlin! And I walked towards the front of the stage, and then once I hit the front of the stage, my heel clipped a divot in the stage, and I have the worst ankles ever, so I just completely snapped and fell all the way to the ground. Not even just a trip. No, I fell to my hands and knees, like fell down. But I honestly wasn't that embarrassed over it. Like, I felt like everyone else was making more of a big deal than it was, because I don't know, just sometimes I don't think that stuff like that really embarrasses me that much, because I was just so secure in my performance. I didn't even think of it. And then everyone afterwards came up to me and was like, just so you know, regardless of that, you did so well. Like, it wasn't even a big deal at all. And I'm like, yeah, why are we even talking about it? Like, you're the, like, you know, like, I was like, yeah, I don't need you to tell me it's not a big deal. Like, I really don't care. I really don't care. But yeah, so that definitely affects your confidence, I think, positively, because you have to be like, well, I fell and I have to get back up, and it doesn't matter, and just keep pushing through. So I would say that the pageants definitely helped in that sense. And like I said, someone a few days ago said that I was being awkward, and I was like, I don't believe in that. Like, you say I'm awkward, I'm not being awkward. I'm just being. So I didn't get embarrassed over that either. So let me read some. So I went up on Reddit. I'm a big Reddit fan now, /SRS. And I looked up embarrassing stories, and I tried to find people who said, you know, this was like, this specific story was the most, get this, most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to me. And they were like, all of these people said that they think about this in the middle of the night and it haunts them. So I'm going to read a few, and then I'm going to share some of mine. I'm going to share some of my embarrassing stories also after that. No, as if I didn't just share a few embarrassing stories, but I'm filled with them. And it's beautiful. I'm filled with embarrassing stories, and it's beautiful, and it makes me who I am. So, okay, let's read this Reddit story. In high school, the homecoming dance was coming up. I happened to confide that I had a crush on a popular girl to another girl in my math class. Unbeknownst to me, they were very good friends, and this girl offered to put in a good word for me. The next day, she told me my crush would totally say yes if I asked her. So in between periods, I found my crush in the hallway, asked her to homecoming, and she said yes! Booyah! Well, homecoming is on Saturday. Today is Thursday. My crush, her friend, and I go to lunch together, and I offer to pay, in hopes that will make her like me even more. Yes, I was bad at this. She tells me she wants 2 bags of chips, burgers, fries, and a small carton of chocolate milk. Can I just pause? Why is this so specific? Like, an adult is writing this, talking about something that happened in high school, and they're like, get this, I ordered a bag of chips, and she ordered a chocolate milk. I'm kind of scared. Anyways, continuing. No problem. I go to the cafeteria, and I get those items like a boss. Who wrote this? For some reason, I decide to jog over to her, even though that only shaves off like 10 seconds from my trip. I have 2 bags of chips in my mouth. One hand with a burger and fries, the other hand with a carton of chocolate milk. Wow, okay. He really hit the basketball jog to her. Okay, the girls are sitting in the common area. The common area is carpeted adjacent to the cafeteria, which has a tile floor. These rooms are separated by a relatively small metal line on the floor. Oh wow, this guy's a great storyteller, whoever wrote this. Anyways, as I meet that line, my left foot catches on the metal. No problem. I have another foot though. I will just swing that foot forward real quick and save this. Nope. The other foot also catches. As I fall straight forward, I instinctively try to catch myself with my hands. Well, one hand has chocolate milk in it, which promptly bursts, sending chocolate milk in every direction. My other hand didn't help me either, slips on the burger in the bag, and the fries go all over the place. The last thing to break my fall is my own face. The face with 2 bags of Lay's potato chips in my mouth. Yikes. You know the jokes about Lay's chips being full of air? They're true. As my face collided with the ground, both the bags of chips exploded at the same time. It sounded like a gunshot. Somehow one of my shoes flew off. I tried to melt into the floor and fade out of existence for a moment, and then peeled my chocolate milk and chip-soaked face off the ground. This happened at the meeting point of the common room and the cafeteria, so everyone in both rooms either saw or heard this fiasco and looked over. About 100 students. It's deadly silent for another couple seconds, and then the laughter. Dear God, the laughter. Oh my gosh, this is written like a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book. Is this real? I don't know if this is real, but it's too specific and honestly niche to not be real. Okay, and then he basically just everyone came over, and then my crush came, but my crush has the greatest laugh of all. She fell to the ground with one hand bracing herself on her knees. The other hand is clutched at her ribs as she laughs so hard, no sound comes out. Wheezing like an asthmatic dolphin. What? What? First of all, do you really have a crush on a girl if you're saying that she's wheezing like an asthmatic dolphin? And then he goes, there's no recovery from this. I walked to the bathroom. The teacher could only manage to hand me my shoe to continue laughing, yada, yada, yada. I'm spending my whole day waddling in easily the most embarrassing moment of my life. I thought, well, maybe I'm the funny guy now, and my crush will like that. The next morning, I see my crush, and she says, so homecoming is tomorrow? I excitedly say, yes, it is. She then delivers a crisp, so this guy that I actually liked asked me to go to the dance, so I'm going to go with him. To which I replied, yeah, that makes sense. I totally did not go in the bathroom and cry after that. Wait, that's so sad. I hope this story isn't real. But if it is, let me think about what I think about that. Because honestly, I mean, I've had so many embarrassing high school stories. One time, similar to this, so I'm trying to kind of put myself in this person's shoes. One time, I want to try to tell stories like how this guy does with all these cool details, but I don't know if I'm like that. It was a crisp winter day, and there was a gingerbread making competition at my Catholic high school, and I was so excited all day long, and we went and bought supplies the day before to make a Barbie dream house gingerbread house, okay? And we bought a Barbie. We bought all kinds of stuff. Easily spent about $40 to $60 on this gingerbread house, okay? So we're so excited, waiting all day. And this is in high school, by the way. I know I'm like a 5-year-old getting all excited about my gingerbread house, but I'm very competitive, okay? It's a gingerbread house making competition. And I was so ready. We were so ready for this. And the day came, whatever, it was the after school kind of event, and a lot of kids in my high school were going. So I get together with all my friends, we start to make it, we finally finish. The gingerbread house is gorgeous. We snap one picture, and it's this super cute, we have a cute little outfit for our Barbie, and it took us so long, and it came out amazing. All of a sudden, one of the boys in my high school from the hockey team and his little posse walked over to our gingerbread house, swore at us, and just broke it, smashed it. And then everyone was laughing. The whole lunchroom came over to laugh and watch as, you know, I was so upset and uncomfortable because I didn't even know these people, like, at all. This guy from the hockey team just came over and just smashed our gingerbread house in front of everyone, and everyone's laughing and everyone's looking at me and my team, and nobody did anything. Like, no teachers cared, nothing. And then the next day and then for the days following, as I was upset about it, then it caused more drama, and everyone was just making fun of me that I was upset over my gingerbread house being broken. And I was like, it's not even about that. It's just the thought that everyone was kind of looking, watching, laughing, and then also this person that I didn't know just wanted to try to, like, ruin my day. Do you know what I mean? It's the thought there. It's not the fact that I'm a 5-year-old who cares so much about this stupid gingerbread house, which I did care. I spent $60 on it. So I know how this Reddit guy feels, okay? I hate the feeling of, like, being in the lunchroom, because my situation happened at the lunchroom too. I hate the thought that he was in the lunchroom and everyone was laughing at him, because I know how it feels. So I do understand why he would think that this is the most embarrassing moment of his life. But I encourage him to look back and reflect. Could potentially be a really great villain origin story. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously though, it's the times that everyone was laughing at me that I had to do the self-reflection. Like, I always say that if I was not bullied in high school, then I probably wouldn't have done the hobbies that I ended up doing, or, because it got to a point where I was like, I don't even care anymore that, people hate me so much, or that I'm being bullied so much, because I'm gonna make it worth it then. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna make it. I was like, I'm gonna make it worth it, and I'm gonna do mock trial, and I'm not gonna care what people think, and I'm gonna do these little nerdy hobbies that I like, because I don't care what people think. Um, you know, that's what made me who I am. It was the moments that I had to, sit there and just be made fun of, and sit there and be disliked, because that made me who I was. Because that was the moments where it was like, you only have yourself, Jenna. You need to create the life that you deserve. And people are gonna say stuff, but that you can't let that hold you back. And that's really at the heart of this podcast, is what it's all about. Because you have to get embarrassed to become who you need to be. Like, embarrassment is an important part of life. You can't hide in your room afraid to get embarrassed, because it's gonna happen. You have to let it happen. Okay? I'm gonna read this other story too, because I'm gonna read this other Reddit story. Just to continue on with this little Reddit trend, which my friends and I have so many, like, Reddit jokes. Like, we'll use because you know how they have the slash SRS, slash JK, slash R, slash whatever, like, what's it called? A tone? It's a tone reader or something? I don't know. So my friends and I, we love Reddit. So this is the next story. My sophomore year of high school, I had a crush on a girl. I love how all these stories are about high school too. I think it's cool how, I think the most embarrassing moments that this is asked to adults. The most embarrassing moments for most people is grade school, probably, and high school, because you haven't grown into yourself yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're more easily exposed. Your shell isn't hard enough yet. So you just think that even things that can appear to some people not a big deal are so much more of a big deal when you're younger. So I just find it really interesting that basically all the stories, when I was looking for one, all of them were high school or grade school. So just something to think about. My sophomore year of high school, I had a crush on a girl that I had a class with. We talked a few times, but I didn't know her that well. It was around Valentine's Day, and our school did a thing where you could pay $10, and student volunteers would go sing a song you picked in class to whoever you picked and give them a card. So instead of approaching her like a normal person for a date, I decided to go with the singing Valentine. I plunked down my $10, signed up, started getting extremely nervous about the next day. That afternoon, I told my friend what I'd done, and he started laughing and laughing, more than if he were just laughing at a bad idea. Finally, he told me that the girl that I chose had a boyfriend, he was a senior, and that I was an idiot. The next day, I explained the situation to a friend of mine that was involved in the program, and after he finished laughing, he told me it was too late. Singing assignments were out, and that this was going to happen. My only hope was that since singers and time are limited, they wouldn't get to mine, which is a thing that would sometimes happen, and then you get your $10 back and not humiliated. So, our class together rolls around, which of course I had it sent to that one, and I started watching the clock. A couple other people got the singing Valentines, but with about 10 minutes left, mine hadn't come. Mine still hadn't come. Then the door opened, and instead of the one person with the boombox we normally had, there was 3. One was the guy I had begged to cancel it, who gave me the biggest smile as they set up. Oh, so this was like totally intentional. Okay. Now song options had been limited. This was before streaming existed, so it was just what they happened to have CDs of. I honestly didn't know most of the songs and didn't want to go sappy, so I went with one of the higher tempo songs I knew, Wild Thing. I don't know what that song is. So they announced who the Valentine was for, and she blushed. I'm sure she was assuming that it was from her boyfriend. They started singing, and then she blushed harder. They handed her the card that I had written with my name on it, and her face stopped being pink and went far more red. She looked over at me, and all I could do was shrug. After they left, she said out loud, "But, Choi, I have a boyfriend." And then everyone knew it was from me. I just muttered that I'd found out too late, and happy Valentine's Day, and I'm sorry. That was the most embarrassed that I've ever been. That is really sad. I feel like, though, when you really think about it and you dissect it more, anyone who's normal would see and recognize that that's actually not that embarrassing. God forbid you want to send somebody and, like, to be a kind person, a little, like, have a sweet crush on someone and then wanting to send them something for Valentine's Day. There's nothing embarrassing about that. So, my mindset about it, okay, is that, when people are judging you, they really are judging themselves because they're seeing something expressed in you that they're not comfortable expressing in themselves. So if anyone was judging him in that scenario, when you really kind of dissect it, it's probably because they themselves are super uncomfortable expressing when they have a crush on someone or expressing love or, kindness. It's something that's cringy or awkward to them because they themselves don't have the opportunity to feel that. So if you ever find yourself judging someone, something that I always do, if I find myself judging someone or if I feel like somebody else is judging them, I'll just keep in mind that, like, you have to take a step back and think, why? Like, why am I being like this? Once you understand the energetics of judgment, then you won't fear it anymore. And that will lead to, you feeling less embarrassed. Obviously, naturally, anyone would be, like, a little bit shy or embarrassed about that. But at the same time, it's not the end of the world or something that, you're, like, this story happened, like, before streaming and all that. So this happened a while ago, and this was only posted, like, last year. So whoever wrote this is a full-grown adult who is still thinking about this high school experience to this day. And, you have to understand the judgment. You have to understand the embarrassment to not fear it anymore. I'm not saying that I'm perfect and I never get embarrassed, but also just saying that, you have to have that mindset that's like, your perception of me is a reflection of you. And my reaction to you is an awareness of me. That's my mindset. When I was being, like, super bullied, I did all online school for a few months, and practically, I disabled all, if not most, of my social media accounts and essentially just kind of hid in my room. And I just did online school because it was COVID at the time, and I just wanted to kind of hide. And I loved it. It was so nice. Quarantine was amazing for me because I could just kind of hide away. And it was so comfortable, and it was the best. But time was being wasted, and life was going on without me in it. My friends would hang out, I wouldn't go, I would hide all day, and I came out of this period in this time, and I went and said, I'm going to go compete in a pageant that I had always wanted to compete in. And then I won. And then uncomfortably threw myself into the limelight again. And that was one of the best things that I could have done for myself in order to grow as a person. Because what if I never came out of that? And I, didn't have any social media. I was hiding in my room, just watching TV, dreaming of how I wanted to move to California one day, dreaming of how, I wanted to be someone, but not wanting to ever take the initiative to do that. Then I would still be, back home in my room in Massachusetts, dreaming of the time that I finally felt comfortable enough to be seen again. But I didn't do that. And that is the mindset that everyone has to have. You have to know the energetics of judgment to not fear it anymore, to become who you need to be. I saw a TikTok today when I was just scrolling through. Obviously, TikTok is such a reliable app, but I just found it really motivational. I saw right when I woke up. I try to follow a lot of kind of motivational TikTokers, and I saw it said, an influencer with 1 million followers won't judge you for posting. An athlete won't judge you for being a beginner at the gym. A billionaire won't judge you for starting a business. And someone with good grades would not judge you for studying. Because I promise you, it is always those doing less that want to stop you from doing more. People will find it cringy when you are becoming a better person. But people are always going to find it cringy or have something to say when you follow your dreams. But the people that are actually doing things and the normal people are going to find it super sick, and they're going to find you super brave. That's why I'm doing this podcast today. That's my life motto. And that's what, if anything, that I want people to take away from this podcast. And I know this podcast was a lot more serious than usual, but I just felt like I had to get this off my chest today because it had to be said. It had to be said because everyone starts somewhere on their journey to their inner self-confidence, okay? But we're actually out of time. So on that note, thank you all so much for coming out of your shell today and listening to the Be a Lobster podcast. Don't be shellfish. Be sure to drop a follow on our Instagram at Be a Lobster Podcast for show updates, behind the scenes, and more. I shall see you later, because it's a celebration. Bye, everyone.
And now he's dead. Told me to kill my indulgences with a sharp blow to the tempo. Pick up the phone, call and do everything he says. I could take a plastic camera, we could make such a pretty picture. Oh, so happy, oh, so happy. I'm pretty cool once you get to know me. I feel at some point I broke my mind. I'm always searching the silent side. How do you all make it look so easy? You open your heart up so quickly, it scares me. She's an artist, paints across my chest, goes to parties, act like hotel guests, wake up Monday, now it's over. Don't you know no one gets what they came in for? I could paint her, wraps around her, we could could make such a pretty picture. Oh, so happy, oh, so happy. I'm pretty cool once you get to know me. But I'm just the same. I've got a boring name. Across the board of what you want and what you came here for. So I'm waiting for you. I said, please just let me stay. Or just let me stay. I guess you know now what to expect. He lives your own life in retrospect. You know it bores me. His insecurities breaks you down just to act as the architect. Back away here by the West Pier. Watch the flotsam float slowly disappear. Oh, so happy, oh, so happy. If only you knew just how much better things could be.